finally use a freaking sweet gun. Wait, that's a lot of melees. Or tanks. I wasn't thinking. Oops. Oh, this will be a unique punch. Now, are those people praising or rioting? Long live the road trader. This is sweet. I'm glad I saved this for the last of my 3 worlds. Primary worlds. Wait. Versurian? Wait. Am I crazy? Does that mean that she's related to the Seneschal? Am I getting my funny names mixed up? Emperor Protects. Welcome home, your lordship. I am Chlamydia. Jeez, unfortunate name. We're Syrian. Court Chancellor of the Von Vlaxis dynasty, on behalf of all of Dargonis, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora von Valaxius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all, but as one star expires, another always flares to life. And although still overcome with bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you will become the Trade Dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. Mentia. Abelard offers a reserved nod. She nods in return, and the line of his brow softens ever so slightly. Whoa. Achilles Scalander. Ooh, that name's familiar. Oh yeah. Secretary of the Ministerium Department. I hope you're turning to Dargonis. Was not talking about unwanted troubles. The Emperor protected. We had some incidents, but those are irrelevant at this moment. Quite right, your lordship. What happened cannot be changed. But you still have great deeds ahead of you, so let us look to the future with hope in our hearts. Does your lordship wish to survey the grounds? Or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have. Governor Urban Drivesem has been notified of your arrival on Dargonis and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. What would you say your last name was? Not politely. You heard correctly, your lordship. I am of House Wersirian, Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. You look kind of old. Is that just like the coloring? She looks kind of old herself. How old is Abelard? Chancellor Wersirian has held her position at the Von Valaxius court for many years. She earned Lord Captain Theodore's respect through acts of great perseverance. There's no room for doubt. Blood had nothing to do with it. Emperor blesses those who strengthen humanity's domain through their deeds. You have reason to be proud of your progeny. Abelard looks at you in surprise, but then immediately puts on an air of indifference. Thank you, Lord Captain. Why isn't the governor here? Apologies, Lordship. Governor Drivestem's residence is on the other side of the world. Let the Administerium Palace of Dargonis. We sent word as soon as you enter the system, but it takes time to travel the great distances of your domain. Logic. Chancellor Wersirian appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture deigned to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with the new rogue trader. I would like to rest before the meeting. They're very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. His face brightens with With her face brightens with a pearly white smile, restoring some of his former good looks. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival, we've arranged for it to be tidied up. It is ready whenever you may need it. We're dismissed. I apologize for my blindness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps, before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes of conversation with me. As I said, I'm certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the Von Valaxius Protectorate most useful. Oh. Huh? Oh, what? Is like another... There's like a whole nother place for people to spread out. Such illustrious society, such well noble indeed. Honest, getting to know you, Shireen. This world offers you just doing business. Are the rest inside? The walls of your home suffocate me, Elentok. I hope to leave this twisted world at the first opportunity. Make people leave, Doman. Their idle questions are getting in the way of my watch. I'm among the rich and pampered now. Ancient Cognier link Palace's system networks.
What do we have here?
Oh. Went the wrong way. At least in terms of exploring. Come on. Sure, that's something I can pass a perception check on. Guess not. Let's see what Argenta's up to. She's praying, of course. It'd be nice to bring the camera down to like eye level to admire some of this stuff, but then that means they would have had to model like all the ceilings and roofs and things, and that just would have been extra work. It's kind of, it's not so much corner cutting, but it definitely helps with the load, especially with how much detail they put into everything. Welcome, your lordship. Let me inform you of the location of the chambers on your dynastic estate. The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Scalander, informed me that he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet with you there. That's probably where I go to progress. If your lordship wishes to rest after a long journey, then your personal chambers are up the stairs and on the right. If you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Alright, now there's going to be some aristocrats plotting against me based on that little exchange I saw. Start.
What a peculiar thing.
Whenever the wearer moves through a cell occupied by an enemy, the wearer gains 50% dodge. Is this a balcony? Ooh, all kinds of goodies in here. Oh, serious item. That's a gun. Looks like some more. Lots of goodies to loot back here. Ooh, that's sick. Oh, secret room is markedly quiet and almost homely. Perhaps your predecessor used it when she sought complete solitude, listening to the muted melody coming from the Vox speaker. You can easily imagine Theodora reading a book with a glass of expensive wine in hand. We displays names several Vox sympathies. Recognize the melody that is playing right now. It is the first of the 36 parts of the symphony, The Honor of Duty. Here's a book. So your ancient letters look like they have never been opened. On Theodora's day that has been restored using the cognators of the phrase litanies of the motive force. It is the title of one of the books here. Litanies, Lomotive Force. Pick a bookend button and the spine clicks under your finger. You notice a short inscription in the book. From a faithful servant of the dynasty in lasting memory, DVV. Grandmaster's blood, blood of Terra, flame of purity. Heroes, flame of purity. Wine fills the glass, lettering in the dim light in the room, like liquid gold. Its tangy flavor burns your throat, leaving behind a spicy, biting aftertaste. You hear a short, faint hum as an unseen motor stirs in emotion. The room responds to your actions with a quiet, grinding sound, and a small nook reveals itself in a nearby wall. Inside, you find a data bank bearing the Von Vlaxis coat of arms. The information has been carefully encrypted. Of course, it wasn't just a moment to have. It even has a little something something. Ooh. This is my balcony. It's gonna be one of those, yeah. Look at my subjects. I've been summoned. I'll have to finish exploring after I help something. Oh, we're having an actual conversation. Like the people outside, Road Trader the Marshal is ready to meet with you. Do you wish to commence the audience? No, I have other business. Okay, so that's probably why. Everyone else is probably just going to be a quick little chat. Or a phrase or two. What do you think, babe? I appreciate that you appreciate my taste. Except I didn't pick anything. Hey, what the heck? The villagers man greets you with an incredibly radiant smile. His meticulously polished jaw augmentation reflects the palace's interior as sharply as a mirror. Let me introduce myself. I am Lusarius Carmelon, a collector of curiosities. Perhaps your lordship will find something useful among my offerings. What kind of curiosities you sell? Equipment for noble cyber assignments, of course. Assistance. The demand is modest. Few of the Imperium can afford such a luxury. By his expensive attire and ostentatious augmetics, Lusari's wealth is unlikely to stem directly from his curiosity business. He came here following his heart, it seems, and not his greed. I am the rogue trader. I seek the rarest curiosities. My collections will be the officer's broadcast suspense. However, even a devoted enthusiast like myself has his limits. There's a certain captain who owns a unique protocol, a family heirloom, which he has refused to sell me. His ship is called the Renegade's Fall. Perhaps you can chart a path to his hoarded treasure. I will send you the coordinates of the place where we last met. Lordship. Bows her head politely for the Chancellor of the Rogue Trader. She is dressed rather simply. A parade doublet, polished boots, and a comfortable cloak. She bears a sabre and a gilded scabbard. Or saber. Sabre. I suck. Whether for show or protection, one could not say. Only her ring with the Wersurian coat of arms indicates that she is of the highest social stratum. The governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. Sharp gaze, the impeccable straight back, the composure. For a moment, you feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his heir. Judging by the scars on the exposed parts of her body, Clementia saw her fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of Chancellor. For your responsibilities. Put it simply, I am your trade representative. Any and all decrees, deals, official communication, and meetings are first reviewed by me and then forwarded to you and from you down the hierarchy. My purview also includes overseeing your lordship's property, the palace, the estates, and many gardens, and other demesnes, I think that's right, on Darganos that you have inherited from Lady Theodora. And whenever you are president of Dargnos, consider me your personal secretary. What can you tell me about Darganos? All deals and important decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, an ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administerium that allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighboring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administerium and converted into servitor scribes. They now toil across the entire world. Darganos is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. If I may express my not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly stands at the helm. Those piranhas think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the Protectorate itself, if not more. And lastly, Darganos has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships, which are used to transport cargo between worlds. The capital stay in contact with the other worlds of the Protectorate. Unfortunately, not this time, your lordship. After the few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on Darganos went into a frenzy, some of the Psykers were tragically pacified by the respective authorities. Since then, communication with the neighboring systems has been unreliable at best. Thanks to the master of mankind, be to the master of mankind that you managed to find your way to the capital. The noble house are so volatile. What sense is there in keeping them? Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy has formed within the ruling elite of Darganos. The great houses do more than plunder your treasure. It is replenished, to a large degree, thanks to their administrative work and their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements. But for right now, it could threaten the fragile stability that is currently holding the Protectorate together. Are there any issues? Apart from the disrupted communications, Darganos was recently raided by enemies of humanity. However, the fleet, under the command of Captain Marthius Wersurian, triumphed over the accursed Xenos. If you asked for my opinion on this matter, we have the situation completely under control. Catch her avoiding your gaze for just a moment, for the first time. It's obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name, but despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell that she does not entirely believe her own words. Tell me about the governor. Urban Drivestem is a well-respected man, and not just on Darganos, but throughout the Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administration and the logistics between the Von Valaxius systems. The Drivestem's efforts secured years of order and prosperity for Darganos. What's more, Lady Theodore personally insisted that Lord Urban specifically be made the next governor. Fellowship. The way you speak of Drivestem, I hear a hint of either contempt or resentment. No, I don't believe I feel either, your lordship. Clementia's steely eyes stare into the distance, her jaw clenching visibly. She speaks in a polite but clipped manner, clearly flustered by your insight. We have different views on how to run a world, but we sometimes have discussions over the laws that are enacted. But we both work for the good of the Von Valaxius Protectorate. That much can be said without a doubt. Thank you for the report. Does Achilles Stellander, does he cause any problems? Why, not at all, your lordship. Secretary Stellander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the Von Valaxius dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he has proven himself quite capable, and I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. The last word brings a slight smile to her lips. The governor can wait a little longer. Certainly, your lordship. However, I do not concern myself with the governor's feelings, but I must warn you, your action or an inaction may be interpreted in a certain way. Now, your lordship will excuse me. So should I see him first or not? Appearances tells a slight disturbance in the ranks that serves on the side of the palace, and now let's perform rituals and maintenance. Litanies has produced a satisfactory result. Maybe I should quickly meet the governor. Alright, I guess we'll meet with the governor first. The audience hall. Oh wait, how do I... How do I meet with him? Do I have to meet with this guy first? Slender figure, clad in robes made of expensive fabric, shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. Achilles, it's been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Achilles covers his burnt lips, trying and failing to suppress a coughing fit. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you, as well as her wishes for your swift return. Henrix frowns. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Thumps himself on the chest with his augmented hand. You hear a clanging of metal against metal. Logic. I'm not so foolish as to fail to notice a conversation in code. Your insight deserves credit, rogue trader. Then again, I expected nothing less from Theodora von Valaxius' successor. Nurse looks at him. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Ministerium, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit as a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Cronus Expanse. I'm sure you will find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Scalander, greetings, Lord Lazarus von Valaxius. Allow me to again express my deepest condolences for the loss of Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Kunrad Votvir's accomplices on the capital world. Do you know anything about what has become of Kunrad Votvir? Or Master whispers as a heretic and a traitor. Nods grimly. Word of his treason reached Dargonis too late. Kunrad came to the planet and left almost immediately. Once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt. But it seems unlikely that the Wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their heart and now nurtures it in secret. Okay, so those are the people we're going to be dealing with. Cross me a report on the present state of affairs. I have already forwarded all official reports to your seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I would entrust any paper or data slate with its consents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonis' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonis, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest, or whomever they deem to be the weakest. The nobles of Dargonis are well-respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests, and each one expects that with the transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drivestems, the Gapraks, and the Sauerbachs. Huh. Who was Gaprak on our ship? I can't remember who the Gaprak was, but obviously Drivestem and Sauerbach. I should also mention the Wursurians. Not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to the Blue Blood's great displeasure. About the Drivestems. The Drivestems are the ancient governor house of Dargonis. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the Von Valaxius Protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless, except for one detail. We have evidence that Urbend Drivestem's rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drivestems, but we lack solid proof, and it might never surface. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the Von Valaxius heir, not his servant. What about the Gapraks? Gapraks hail from a remote Forge world, and among their distant relatives, there are many servants of the Omni Messiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Gapraks oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate. Until recently, ever since the astropathic communication with Kiava Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. I've been to Kiava Gamma already. The planet was tainted by the cult of the Final Dawn. Shakes his head. These are grim tidings. It's a tragedy that an industrial world of such tremendous capacity was brought down by the pernicious influence of the archenemy. Perhaps my colleagues can pick up the cultist's trail in the cold void. Of course, it would be a small consolation to all of us. What can you tell me about House Sauerbach? Religious and hardworking, the Sauerbachs own many enterprises, including distillation manufactorums, and produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the Sauerbach family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the Von Valaxius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora was a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. I'd like to know about the Wursurians. The Wursurians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, and from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonis, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they never were granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonis. And secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue traders' favor. The Warsurians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. I feel the urge to have one of those psychopaths executed at once. Drugs. You are naturally well within your right, Rogue Trader, but remember that this will cause the multi-layered bureaucratic system of Dargonis and your entire protectorate, in fact, to come apart at the seams. That's not even considering the likelihood of attempted reprisals from the families and their allies. I would hold off on death sentences, act with restraint and wisdom, present for all to see sufficient proof of the unwanted house's guilt. Do not mistake me. Mass executions are one way to solve your problems, but in that case, you should weigh up every possible scenario before you act. Anything else you wanted to report? There was, your lordship, and this time, it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet. Xenos and the threat they pose both to you and humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me, but my eyes and ears scattered throughout the Kronos expanse. Warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the Imperium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. Looks at you and I without blinking. It is within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drivestem will beg you for protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, Lazarus. If I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the Rogue Trader and his mighty void ship to avert disaster. Is this where my planets I've been to now could start being attacked and I have to watch? I got the noble houses. What are your responsibilities here? Officially, I'm Secretary of the World's Mysterium Department. Less officially, I'm afraid I can't disclose that even to you. In short, I collect and investigate reports of heresy taking root on upstanding planets of humanity. Above all else, I'm concerned about the Xenos threat that hangs over the entire Kronos expanse, including your protectorate. Sadly, my mission was complicated by the recent warp disturbances. I'm still trying to re-establish contact with many of my agents. Tell me about the Xenos. The residents of the local systems are no strangers to skirmishes with enemies of humanity. But recently, the loathsome beasts seem to have completely flown off the handle. We're receiving reports from ships that made it through the warp to Dargonis. Both they and the colonies that they departed from are being attacked. They've identified the breed of Xenos that pose this threat, the Drukhari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. Be vigilant on your travels. The Xenos will undoubtedly attack a Rogue Trader ship should they find the circumstances to be in their favor. Unfortunately, in the host of humanity, there are those who are willing to grovel before our enemies in the hopes of a valuable reward. You may be interested to know that we are on the trail of such heretics, as said Daisley. Overwhelming evidence indicates that a plundered void station in Lagran's Belt is being used as a base by a band of pirates who are not above dealing with Xenos. I was unable to persuade the Chancellor of the need to dispatch a ship there, but perhaps you would like to pay a courtesy call to these scoundrels yourself. You know anything about the Cult of Final Dawn? My knowledge is deplorably limited, your lordship. All my attention has been focused on tracking Xenos activity. I'm certain that Master Van Calix can tell you much more about those heretics than I can. About your unofficial work? Flash with interest. Yes. Who do you truly serve? Rogue Trader, Interrogator. And whom does the Rogue Trader serve? The Golden Throne, the Protectorate? Could it be that one stems from the other? And if so, is there any sense in discussing it? Or until I wanted to. I have other questions. But seems pretty rough to ask him about his... Oh yeah, he doesn't even have hands. Jeez, he's really messed up. What happened? About 5 years ago, there was an accident. Several tanks of promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate, and I was burned alive under the rubble, or buried. The Emperor preserved my soul, and the stilled Psychician, whatever, of Darganos saved my body, except for my lungs, with which I had to part. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Drivestem has arrived at court. I imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is to notify her that you're ready to see Urbend. Okay, so I did have to talk to him first. I'm pretty sure I could deal with Solomorn after, so I'm assuming. If I have any gear I could put on real quick that might help my stats. No. Oh yeah, I forgot I got some new shiz. Yeah, that's pretty good, though. When he gets a crit with his arc rifle, dude. I guess this is more plasma damage. I don't think that applies to arc. I think I'm assuming I have to take this to my Cognator on the bridge. Oh, and I got 3 more of these. Nice. I don't know when that happened, but cool. Ready to see the governor. I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study. Governor Urbed Drivestem. Lazarus von Valaxius, 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the sacred warrant, and ruler of the Kronos Expanse. I like how my audience is Kilbella and... That is Mercerian, right? Yeah, I forgot. Man, he looks so sick now in the new armor I've gotten for him. Keeper of the sacred warrant, ruler of the Kronos Expanse from the Kranax system to the 100 Dreams Crossroads. I bid you welcome. Urbed Drivestem, governor of this great world. First and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valaxius. It pains me to think that she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dragaunus and of the entire Protectorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare half a year of mourning so that we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. Governor glances at Cobella anxiously, then immediately averts his gaze. Then he looks at her again, but when Cobella lets out a grim chuckle and stretches her lips daubed in fresh blood into a petrifying grin, the governor turns away from her sharply, all but squealing in fear. Half a year. Do we want to spend 6 months mourning, or do we just want to get on with it? There is no need. I am the new ruler of the Protectorate. Let my subjects rejoice in my arrival instead. Bewilderment causes the wrinkles on Drivestem's glossy face to soften. Your lordship, these are century-old traditions, sacred customs, and rules. Do not forget who it is you serve, Urbed Drivestem. It is the rogue trader's wish to not have a mourning ceremony. His voice raised up Leslie. Then so be it. Perhaps the parvenu installed by Lady Theodora cares not for the sacred traditions of our founding ancestors, but Lazarus von Valaxius, the descendant of the true children of Dragaunus, it behomes the ruler of the world to honor his customs. I do honor traditions, Governor. Later, when things in the Protectorate settle down, we will declare a mourning period. As you will, your lordship. Esteemed Lazarus, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we have to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and preserve in spite of this tragedy. Together, let us carry on where she no longer can be leading the von Valaxius Protectorate to even greater prosperity. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargaunus flew into a rage, and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with neighboring worlds, but the contacts are still weak, and the routes are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonis Navy travel without relying on the services of the navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the Von Valaxius dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. I met with a ship from Dargonis not too long ago. The crew was transporting a strange artifact that went mad during a flight. This is truly a regrettable bit of news. What's more, leaving Dargonis has been forbidden for several cycles now. It seems the Worsurian family has once again failed in their primary responsibilities. We will investigate this at once, as well as the fact that the ship had to acquire a permit with the Administerium seal. Does your nephew still serve at the Administerium Palace? Governor presses a number of buttons on the Cogginator built into his bracers and looks up at you in surprise. I don't understand. The ship did indeed depart from orbit, but it did so, if you can believe it, on the Road Trader's authorization. That is why no one dared to impede its departure. Lord Captain, it would seem that Kunrad somehow got his hands on a copy of her authorization. Or perhaps even the original. A tool like that in the hands of a traitor does not bode well. Has he shown his face in Dargonis? Lord Vatvir visited the capital some time ago, but he did not request a personal meeting. The heretic, you say? Now I see where all the whisperings in the corridors has come from. I shall be frank with you, your lordship. Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us, and the absence of any sort of verifiable and complete information about her successor gives grounds for all manner of rumors and misinterpretations, especially if someone is deliberately inciting unrest and discontent. Naturally, none would dare challenge you by accusing you of something as sacrilegious as murdering a rogue trader. However, Kunrad Vatvir was once a true boon to the Protectorate back in the day, and as such, some might heed his words. My subjects' doubts are understandable. Too many things have changed over in too short a span. I'll prove myself worthy of my position. Why, Lazarus, your desire is most commendable, but please do not forget, rulers should never bow to their attendants. Or some might see it as a show of weakness. What the nobility expect from me in light of the loss of routes of communication. We are all troubled by the fate of the agri-world Janus, that supplied Dargonis and other planets with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Gaprak is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world Kiava Gamma, which is in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is the penal world Vabos 6. I think that's 6. One of the key mining suppliers to your Protectorate. Commerce. Such intriguing concern for Vabos 6 outposts. Doesn't your house happen to own the extraction stations there? His beady eyes widen with fear. Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without Vabos 6, the manufactorums on your worlds will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipments. And in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays and other most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the Von Valaxius dynasty. I've already been to Kiava Gamma. The industrial world was overtaken by a cult of chaos worshippers. Drivestem pauses, mulling over the gravity of your words. Such woeful tidings, your lordship. I assume that House Gaprak is in for an official investigation. If I may remind you, they have particularly close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus and serve as patrons of Kiava Gamma. Not to speak in defense of criminals, your lordship, but from where I stand, the outbreak of heresy on Kiava could hardly have been perpetrated by a noble family who stands to lose the majority of their wealth should an industrial world fall. I doubt Gaprak said anything. It's too early to draw any conclusions. We will wait for the results of the investigation. Most reasonable, your lordship. What about the industrial world? Or would you expect trade to recommence? They will serve it once more, well assured. House Gaprak will be overjoyed to hear it. I thank you for dispelling the darkness around the fate of Kiava Gamma. I've already visited Agriworld Janus. Governor Viat found herself facing a number of problems in my absence. Truly, the Viat line is one of the oldest in the Von Valaxius Protectorate. If the inheritor of such well-respected blood could not handle whatever had befallen her, then the situation must have been extraordinary indeed. Do I not give him... Do I lie about why she died? Not give him any hints as to why she died? Or just tell her why? I already talked about Kieva Gamma. This one, though, would directly hurt a family. But if this this family was dealing with ruinous powers, so... Drivestem pales in terror. It is clear from the unseemly grimace on his astrocratic countenance that his fear is not feigned. Ruinous powers? Truly horrible news. I commend your resolve and unwavering severity. Death to the enemies of humanity. That does it for the planets and the trade routes. What else? Xenos, your lordship. I don't rightly know where to begin. Rubs the bridge of his nose warily. Otherworldly beasts are not an uncommon sight in the Kronos expanse. They have been a menace to the worlds that's this side of the Maw for decades. But now those abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty, or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Darganos. Luckily, we were forced to slay only some of the deranged psychers, although some that remain are as yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his word and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his report, the region of Avos 6, that has been particular concern with a few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. Now to issues on a smaller scale. There is a certain degree of tension in the capital due to the unorthodox succession to the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprisings are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumors is nothing but a sign of weakness in the mind and spirit. Nonetheless, I prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemingly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them? Command the spinners of the blood-spun web, and they will set fine snare of retribution, Doman. We will whisper names, and that whisper will drown out insolent voices. This makes it seem like I'm paying them off. But I'm a man of business and buying people off, so yeah, send them gifts. An elegant solution, your lordship. Other families will assume that your relationships with the defiant houses are more complicated than one might think, and the agitators will receive the message that they are being watched. And one last thing, your lordship. Your inauguration as bearer of the Sacred Warrant is but a matter of time, and I would like to inquire about one crucial detail. I imagine you are intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition, bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship, of being represented on Dragaunus by one of the noble houses. I presume that, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivestem. Which house can represent me at the ceremony? Any of the noble houses located in Dragaunus. The Drivestem family which I lead, the Gaprak family, with long ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Sauerbox, known for their piety and diligent service. Perhaps I should also mention the Wasurians, who have some influence, but who are not actually of noble origin. Any one of these houses would be honored to represent you at the ceremony. I want to elevate my boy and his family. I will bestow this honor upon the Wasurians. Turns to you and bows respectfully. Lord Captain, to accompany you at such a critical hour is the greatest honor for the Wasurian bloodline. Have no fear, we will not fail you. Drivestem tosses Abelard a look that lacks even the smallest shred of respect. Forgive my boldness, but I must remind you that the Wasurians, whose lineage traces back to Navy officers, are not of Dragaunus nobility. Such decisions may have adverse effects on your subjects' loyalty, your lordship. Breaks into a bitter smile. I shall immediately relay your commands, most gracious rogue trader. Thank you for your time. Tell me about yourself and House Drivestem. It would be my pleasure to enlighten you. My house is the oldest and most respected on Dragonis. My ancestors walked side by side with yours for many generations as they cared for this world's welfare. Our duty is to supervise the governing bodies within the systems subservient to you, and we're responsible for the Protectorate's logistics and economic stability. As for me personally, I am a humble servant of the Emperor and a loyal subject of the Rogue Trader, and, to my great pleasure, I had the honor of calling myself Lady Theodora's close friend. At Urban's last words, Abelard lets out a sound that could be interpreted as either a snort or a cough. Urban gives him a look, which Abelard meets with an expression of utter nonchalance. I would like to complete my inauguration. When is the ceremony? I'm afraid that until you deal with pressing issues, the ceremony will have to be postponed. Many trade routes are still unavailable. The central worlds of the Von Valaxius Protectorate are going through crisis, and the warp disturbances, if Void observers are to be believed, will prevent important guests from reaching the capital. That'll be all, I take it? Thank you for your time, your lordship. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Okay. Refer a person know exactly what the head of the Adeptus Arbites in these pants wants to see me about. I do not know the details, but I would assume the procedure is the same as it was in Lady Theodora's time. A personal introduction, a reaffirming of allyship between the dynasty and Adeptus Arbites, and a discussion of tithe-related affairs. I'm ready to discuss our business then. How sick. Dope. Marshal Gregoros Straux. Two markedly distinct figures approach your throne. Marching in front is a man clad in Adeptus Arbites armor. He carries his helmet in the crook of his arm, but his stern facade serves him as well as any visor could. He bows to you sharply. Marshal Straux of the Adeptus Arbites. An old woman walks in the martial shadow, her body fitted with dozens of scribing implants and magnifying instruments. I lost my... If not for her eyes, quick and inquisitive behind a giant pair of ocular lenses, you might have mistaken her for an exotic servitor. Her robes are adorned with sacred symbols of the Adeptus Mysterum. Oh, she actually has artwork. Yeah, she looks crazy. Oh, there's... I see now. Their art is actually it's duo art, and they split it between the two of them. Perfect. Or prefect. Inscribia Vulture. Roman bows. Rogue Trader Lazarus von Valaxius, I, Prefect Inscribia Vulture, greet you on behalf of the Adeptus Mysterum. I will now begin the due procedure of official address to the ruler of Dragonis as formalized by Amendment 4N-10, 4-N/10 to Law SK-941. May your name be wreathed in glory for centuries to come. May your fortunes ever proliferate. May the God Emperor bestow upon you a duty worthy of his chosen. The monotonous droning is making you wary. It seems she intends to go on for a good while longer. You're comfortable and listen to the end. Prefect resumes her elaborate formula. You notice a few poorly concealed yawns and frenzied blinking among the crowd. The speech drags on for another 5 minutes, but you pass this test of fortitude honorably. At last, the prefect's address comes to an end. What is the purpose for your visit? Marshall leans forward, his voice low, and when he speaks, feels as though the marble tiles of the palace begun to vibrate. The Adeptus Arbites delegation has arrived to greet Lady Theodora's successor and see to the extension of our decades-long agreement. If I may continue for you, Risa steps forward, dragging her feet slightly. As per the decree of Theodora von Valaxius, ORD-037/3N, the representatives of the Adeptus Ministerium and the Adeptus Arbites are sanctioned to use the Palace of Justice, oversee tithe collection of the Protectorate, and review any and all cases of tithe avoidance, tithe exceedance, or other irregularities. These rights have been formalized in numerous pacts and statutes under the main decree. Considering your new position, you may have yet to acquaint yourself with all these documents. You are the successor to Lady Theodora, whose alliance with our two sacred organizations forever glorified her as a rogue trader closely tied to the executors of Holy Terra's will. And we, as representatives of the Adeptus Ministerium and the Adeptus Arbites, must verify that you are able to maintain this alliance that has brought such repute to your dynasty. The prefect scrutinizes you as if trying to estimate your proportions and weight. That is why we have arrived in person, as the present circumstances have provided us with a chance to see if your intentions concord with those of the late von Valaxius. What circumstances are those? The prefect's lips contort into a twist. Our work has been disrupted by unforeseen setbacks regarding communication and transportation. As our requisitioned assets were not adequately prepared, we have lost some of our personnel and resources as a result. The Arborators are too short-handed to perform all the duties expected of them. Since they first arrived in the Expanse, their numbers, limited from the outset, have only continued to dwindle. After analyzing the situation in accordance with Amendment FS/893-24 to Decree ORD-037/3N, we have decided to notify you of a tithe violation committed by one of the worlds in the region. This regrettable lapse must be rectified as quickly as possible. Which of the world has the misfortune of drawing your attention? Thasera, a feudal world far from the main routes that was bereft of the Imperium's light, then rediscovered less than 2 centuries ago. It supplies agricultural resources and manpower. I will carry forth the responsibilities taken on by Lady Theodora. I offer you my help. An Arborator will be assigned to you for increased security. Proctor Anthar, front and center. Marshall's voice thunders over the Arborator ranks, and Solomon Anthar marches over to your throne, his cybermassive at the heel. Thank you for your support. I will go to Thasera as soon as I can. The Emperor protects. The Marshal makes the sign of the Aquila in the motion so sharp that you can particularly hear it cutting the air. The prefect adjusts her ocular lenses with a wary sigh, and once again, no specifies given, of course. And my reports, nobody ever stops to think. She quickly catches herself and offers you a bow. So now you can formally serve in my retinue. Splendid. Really the kinds of poisons Latio has detected in various nobles' possessions. Fortunately, they have made no attempts on your life, so I limited myself to sending them simple messages. They may swabble. Funny thing is that, yeah, it's none of the messages you're trying to send is, even though this is like supposedly where I should be the safest in this part of the Expanse, in my capital. I have doubters among my ranks. Among my citizens.
What do we have here?
It's Mundus Valaxius. Oh, that's the Void Ship. I Hmm? You're showing us now overloading the transport lines leading to neighboring hives. I'm eating some goldfish crackers, so I can't read. Hmm. Remind the noble houses of their duties. The committee will ensure that your declarations find a way into the every year of this and are zealously embraced. As I accept, the refugees are now overflowing with surplus labor, and the refugees are willing to work twice as hard than the usual workers, who are already exhausted by their everyday toils. Many refugees have entered the road trader services and replenished the ship's crew. Took no pleasure in distributing the refugees. Some of them have found their way into the personal service of the nobles, thankful to receive a Nutribar and a mat to rest on for 4 hours between shifts. Others can only attain the most grueling jobs at the manufactorums and service stations. They may be oppressed, but they have survived. A diaspora scattered across the hives of Dragonus. Hmm. This one has a lot of rewards at the gate, and it's free, which makes me think that maybe this one might have a better option in the long run. Ooh. Cool. Hmm. I think I'm gonna want to do that one.
Greetings, Protocol. Welcome to the Palace of the Adeptus Ministerium. Your Lordship, please follow me. Okay.
Look, over there.
Uh-oh. Whoever this was didn't make it back.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Oh. Oh, this isn't the same lady. It's just reusing the art. Usually women in voluminous robes appears to you. Bureaucratic domain. Another noble bypassing the queue after the pretext of just wanted to ask. All you highborn ever want is just ask. But what about protocol? That's what I'm asking. Who's gonna follow protocol? Well, so I paid off a few clerks to let us skip the queue, Shireen. Your time is more important to me than a little formalities. Very well, don't just stand there, you're here now. Or do you think the Master of Seals has nothing better to do than receive unexpected visitors? Beckons you over service momentarily. Begin entry, current hour, current turn, current cycle for 41st millennium. What is this place? You're in the very heart of the palace of the Adeptus Ministerium day and night. Hundreds of thousands of prefects, ordinates, scribes, servants, and servitors carry out their duties to humanity in the Von Flaxius dynasty here, never setting foot outside its boundaries for decades at a time. But knowledge comes through comparison. There are entire worlds belonging to the Ministerium, so this palace is but a humble cog in the blessed machine of the Imperium. Tell me about yourself. I am the law. I oversee orders in the section of the Chronos Expanse, as well as on worlds of the Von Valaxius Protectorate, in accordance to the ancient covenants made with your ancestors. I hold the power to grant petitioners what they seek and to punish criminals for failing to carry out the Imperium's will. She's enough herself. Look at her. She's a bona fide living mummy. Tell me about your work. Well, I like to think the Protectorate there has no care for his tongue. If he is so willing to wag it to the point of blistering. However, I despised servant of the emperor that despised, do not possess the gift of unallocated time. Let us proceed with the matter of your application. The companion wishes to obtain Macrum Officia. Master Seals peers over the ocular lens at Jaya in disbelief. Then she looks at you. I take it you are her sponsor. In that case, you must submit a written application in conformity with template number 404.01, as well as written permission for the processing and notariization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Without it, I cannot issue Mistress Hidari. Mistress Hidari, the form for collecting the seals required to obtain the Mercatum Tubula Official, certificate of an official trade representative. At these words, the suspicious smile drops. Seals? What seals? We will discuss that when Lazarus von Valaxius has prepared the primary documentation. Abelard lets out a staunch sigh and rolls his eyes. You get the feeling that this is not his first personal interaction with the Ministerium bureaucracy, nor is it his second. Complete the form. The perfectly sharpened twill scratches pleasantly on the parchment, but for the first few minutes, the obfuscatory phrasing, footnotes, amendments, you are forced to write out the same details over and over about you, the Protectorate, Theodora von Valaxius, Jaya, and then also every living person who bears your family name. If you do not know all the required information, you must complete supplementary forms. An hour. Next is the consent form for the processing and notariation of personal data for your most sacred personage. Give your written consent. Scroll is booked away into another two of the master seals. Protocol executed. Application received. Processed. Approved. Server still strives taps. Come on, esteemed Damar. What's that you were saying about seals? Hurley holds out a printed scroll to Jaya. Here is your document, Mr. Hidari. Unfortunately, it does not yet have legal force. I can certify it as a sacred Mercatum Tubula Official once it has received 2 seals of approval. They are easy to obtain. In the Imperium Court Ministerium, servitors have been handling such tasks for over 50 years. There is one such servitor here in Dragonis in the Rogue Trader's Palace. The second is duty-bound to keep the seal in Telecos Epsilon system. Alright, the seal's not in the Ministerium Palace. Of course, Amendment 3-C/8 implemented by the Prefectus Estinia II of Dragonis. One of the seals must be kept in the palace of the ruler of the Von Valaxius Protectorate, remaining a symbol of the unbreakable link between the Sacred Warrant and the Adeptus Ministerium. The second seal perches the nose, click as she rifles through moldering scrolls with wrinkled fingers. Is held in the Telecos Epsilon system in accordance with Decree OL-008/ZN. Unfortunately, after a fire 200 years ago, all that remains of the original decree is an addendum certified by an unknown adept with the initials AA. No instructions repealing this decree were ever received from Holy Terra, therefore the seal remains where it ought to be. There was a time during my earlier years of service where I performed the duties of secretary in charge of logistics reports at the local ministerium office. Your words, Master of Seals, bring back memories of which I am not the least bit fond. Administrator servants have them place 2 seals of approval. The goal is clear. Please do return once you have prepared the documents. All right.
I always keep my options open.
Oh. Highlighted it for a second. At some point, I must be able to move beyond that door. I guess let's head back to the palace and get that servitor. Or now we're not just going to be wandering around, it seems. And people aren't just going to be scattered to and fro. Oh, no, they are. I guess maybe it assigned people just in case. I talk to Jaya and she helps me find the servitor. There's a few servitors in here. I saw servitors everywhere, so. Oh, she's already there. Usually you're coming very close. I should read myself again. No. Oh. See the family sermons with Avalar now. You cannot see farther than your own nose, my dear. I can't read. It's too fast. Lordship, I apologize for this ugly scene, but might I ask that you rein in Mr. Sadari and put a stop to her inflammatory actions towards me? As the Exalted One is my witness, Shireen, I've tried everything I could to spare you any unnecessary headache over the seal of the Mercatum to Tabula Official. I even showed this aid with a temper worse than a sandstorm, the certificate with your signature. But your Chancellor merely kept batting me away with her flail of baseless denials. I suspect that the reason for this has nothing to do with my humble personage. Purses her lips and glowers at Jaya. Oh no, this isn't about me at all, Jaya narrows her eyes as she peers into Clementia's face, until the latter finally looks away. I see. Well, Chancellor, will you tell us yourself, or should I help you? Whatever's the matter. I'm afraid that my words may anger your lordship, lowers her head in shame as if offering it up to be removed from her shoulders. The seal you were looking for was lost over a quarter century ago. Her Lady Theodora von Valaxius ordered a new one to be delivered from the Imperium. But, as you well know, we are a long way away from Holy Terra, and with warp storms ravaging the Kronos Expanse, we have been unable to receive a replacement to this day. Oh. See with the Winterstell coat of arms. Could this be the seal in question? This is, without a doubt, the Mysterium seal from the Winterstell's realm. But why is it the original and not a copy? Ah, I think I understand. Well, the laws of the Imperium do not prohibit heirs of other houses from using the seal in times of need. I will order to have some servants of the machine cult create a duplicate so as to avoid such embarrassing predicaments in the future. Anyways. That was convenient. Yeah, and the other one's just Janus. Oh, I'm sure that one will also give me a little bit of a run around as to why it can't be immediately used. I'm sure some companions have new dialogue and things, but Where's Janus again? Scheduled service. The ship's chapel was interrupted with the most profane manner. The images of saints and martyrs depicted on the altarpiece started to move and stepped down from the canvas. The congregation was filled with terror and dozens perished in the stampede. The illusion disappeared on its own, but it claimed several priests and altar attendances. It is said their frenzied shrieks can still be heard echoing under the vaults of the chapel during prayer. Oh? Sort of smaller edge. Thankfully, I don't think I need to worry about my party too much rather than having Jaya with me. Requires a seal to certify a Mercatum Tabula Official. Of course, of course. It would be an honor to assist the road trader. Wait but a few minutes, your lordship, and your humble servant will have your seal ready. The expression is pensive as she twists a lock of hair around her metal finger. Interesting, Shireen. I assumed we would be dealing with servitors, but no. Some places in your domain still have this work being performed by people of flesh and blood. I beg your pardon? What's this about servitors? I have faithfully performed my sacred duties to the Imperium and the Mysterium all my life, and guarding the seals is part of that. And after half a century, not a single seal damaged. I keep them in a special case, and I oil the handles every month, as the rules stipulate. Drugs, I am merely repeating the word of the Master of Seals on Dargonus. Servitors have replaced an entire category of lowly bureaucrats assigned to the Von Valaxius planets, around 10 years ago now. But after 70 years of service, and not a single directive, not from Holy Terror or from Dargonus, a complete breakdown in communication. What a farce! What an insult against all processes! Scarlet patches blossom on the secretary's pale face. But this is easily remedied. If the Ministerium requires such a servant, then I will immediately begin preparations for servitorization. The will of the Lex Imperialis is supreme. She clearly did not expect a response from her remark. Attilius, I do not think the Exalted One has any particular desire to see you lobotomized and turned to a mindless clanking ghoul just because someone somewhere changed the law. Iconoclast, a persuasion. You can serve humanity while remaining as you are. Could a servitor replace a true administrative officer who is passionate about his work? Persuasion is successful. After a lot of prevarication, Attilius's hunched figure sags. Of course you are right. I will continue to serve Janus and the Von Valaxius Protectorate as before, and today I will dispatch a request for copies of edicts issued by the Imperium over the last 50 years. Who knows what else we might have missed on Janus? That is wonderful, Attilius, just wonderful. Just don't go poking at your eyes with a long needle, at least until you receive a direct order to do so from your precious Administarum. Here you are. Secretary proffers the sealed certificate with care. And may the Emperor bless your path. How are things on Janus? Without the enemies of humanity on our land? Wonderfully, your lordship. The people of Janus are indebted to you for ridding our world of heresy. The Emperor is my witness. Janus will continue to serve the Von Vlaxius dynasty, but not in precisely the same way as before. Appreciate the local species. I guess the flora of Janus must take your breath away. Cool. Oh, wrong way. I'd assume Omicron is where this tech ship that guy told me about is at. Huh. Urgent report. Your proctor has arrested my voiceman is demanding his execution. A repeat offender, he says. Please do something, Lord Captain. Who's the voiceman? He's one of mine. Not as big of an idiot as the rest of the idlers. He understands the control systems. He can make sense of the readouts. Him? A repeat offender? I will personally interrogate him. Lord Captain, I beg you to look into this outrage. This cyber horror nearly chewed up my assistants, and one of them's been left without 2 of his fingers. Instead of calming his beast, the Arburator attacked my crewmen. Solomon waits for the end of the Master Helmsman's words, and coolly turns to you. This crewman is a wanted man, rogue trader. He is accused of subverting sacred tithe shipments, smuggling, kidnapping in the Imperium's subjects, and bribing officials. Were we not on your flagship, I would have executed the heretic on the spot, but here, you are the authority, and you are the court. Salamorn, why are you certain this man is who you're seeking? Because I was personally involved in tracking down and purging the shadows of the Abyss crime syndicate, to which the perpetrator belongs. The case was in Calixis, on the world of Helvica Prime. Before arbitrators, time and distance do not mitigate guilt. The man before you is the former captain of a smuggling ship owned by the Syndicate. Check the heretic's left arm. Every Syndicate member had a distinctive implant by which they recognized each other. It was that implant's signature that Glato picked up on during his patrols. Why'd you unleash Cybermassive on my subjects? Bastard tried to run when he saw me. His fellow crew members hesitated and didn't make way for me. There was no time to find out if they were abetting the perpetrator or just panicking, so I had to use Glato for suppression purposes. Oh. How did a criminal from Calaxius find its way onto my ship? He was among the servants sent to you by Governor Medina. Ravor. If I went sticking my beak into the past of every one of the hundreds of people in the crew, I wouldn't have time to steer the ship. All I know is that when everything went to grok shit on Rykad Minoris, this one oversaw the work at the docks so that the fools didn't trample each other to death in their panic. And later, he ran into a friend at the port on Footfall, and they found us some parts within a day. He's even got arms growing out of the right places. He might make it to Junior Helmsman if he keeps it up. First, do you have anything to say? Long-haired voiceman flinches when you address him. Your lordship, the governor of Helvica Prime was a scumbag who abhorred the light of the God Emperor, the things he did to the people under him. We only survived by stealing from him, or else we'd have ended up in a corpse pit. like 1 in 4 did after a distribution station accident. But once I got out of there, that was it. I was out of the business for good, and when I found myself in your service, I realized that it was a gift of fate, and I'd be a fool if I didn't repay such good fortune with a wholehearted toil. Made my decision. Shoots a look of naked dislike at Solomon. This talented voiceman is your responsibility. Should you commit any misdeeds henceforth, you will have to answer for them. Oh, yes, we're captain. Let's see. Repairing the voice ships required. Oh! Trevor's disgruntled grimace momentarily dissipates. This case is closed. With your permission, I will return to my duties. Anything new from you?
Rogue trader. You know.
Does Abelard have anything new to say?
Lord Captain.
Oh, wait, actually. Let's go check in with you. Access data from Dragonos. With RAM interpretation, access to your hand, place it on-side drives. Stab true. Epitaph. Status initiated. The machine spirit has revealed the contents of the encrypted data, and I hereby pass it to you. This is where I reach the limit of my authorization. You now have the option to review decrypted data personally. The databank decryption procedure has been completed without complicate. The priest stops short. The green lights of his visor, fixed on Cognator's vid screens, flicker nervously. Your numerical code begins appearing in the with frightening speed. This time the numbers are interspersed with words you can understand. Those words form legible sentences. Input, unpack comp, OS true. Epitaph brought her to the beginning. Analysis initiated. Epitaph begot the incident. That which destroyed. Stat check initiate. That changed everything. The incident became the starting point. Input, unpack. Initiated. The incident breathed life and marked the beginning of all. It marked the beginning of Nomos. It created Nomos. Tech Priest, now alarmed, is tapping the keys of the control panel. His Binharic prayers give way to distressed whispering. Unacceptable deviation. Violation of the sacred protocols. Possibly of tech heresy. Omnissiah, shield us all from heresy. Input prompt. Nom OS. A few moments later, this. What was that just now? Catastrophic mistake. A heinous violation of the purity of hollowed code. This mechanism is touched by heresy. It is branded and tainted by it. Now the machine spirit produces code as before, and yet, Lord Captain, heed my plea. All operations on this machine must be halted until the Engine Seer Prime has inspected it. I saw a word among the lines of code. Nomos. What does it mean? That is a mystery to me. If the mechanism truly is tainted, then could it be? The Tech Priest Mechahandrite jitters anxiously over the control panel. If heresy truly has taken hold of this machine, spirit, and scorned the Omni Messiah's every tenant, then the spirit's madness could be such that it has chosen a name for itself. But that is nothing more than my hypothesis. We will report this to Pascal. My knowledge is insufficient to cleanse this code of mechanism. I will inform the esteemed Engine Seer Prime of this disturbing development. Only he has the powers to expel the heresy from this corrupted machine spirit.
My apologies. 19% of my processing power is engaged in the analysis of my tech comrade's memory. My response time may be longer than usual.
Have you found anything out?
The data is scarce. His identification code is the same as mine, and his memory contains data confirming that the assassination did take place. Unfortunately, some of his memory was damaged by pulses broadcast by his battle harness. I can assert with some confidence that he was who he claimed to be, and that he served the Deus Mechanicus earnestly and eagerly.
You have the impression of paranoid madman.
Notwithstanding his permanent state of agony, he was not cognitively dysfunctional. His desire to immediately destroy the object he had deemed profane was partly dictated by his engrammatic augmetics, which were receiving imperatives from his battle harness. In light of the oddness of our matching identification codes, I find merit in his hypothesis as to the existence of a clandestine malevolent agent or conspiracy operating inside our fraternity.
Who do you think was behind the assassination?
No data available. I will hypothesize that the assassination was instigated by an enemy of the Blessed Amanat's doctrine. I accept the possibility that the assassins were targeting me, only to be led astray by Tarsus and my own identical identifiers. I am concerned about the fate of Archmagos Amanat. According to Opticon 22, he went missing in the wake of the incident on an Arc Mechanicus, the Hermetico. Information about that ship and its perishing has been purged from the archives. I accept the possibility that the incident on the ship, the concealed data, and the assassination have all been part of a single conspiracy.
You were hunted too. Remember our meeting on Rick and Minoris, the people who posed as heretics.
This statement is true. There were also the bodies we discovered in the hallowed electrodynamic Cenobium of unknown infiltrators who had posed as members of the cult of the Final Dawn. There is merit to the hypothesis that all carriers of Magos Haneman's identification code are targets of persecution.
You're not surprised that the Armamat's words had such an effect on Opticon 22?
I was not knowledgeable as to how popular Blessed Amanat's teaching was in explorator circles. The Cognizance fleet is massive. His ideas might have found a larger following on its periphery than in the Mother Squadron.
Amernot was a believer, and he caused a schism. Tarsus was a believer, and he turned into a zealot. Faith can be dangerous.
Of course, faith is dangerous. Faith is the prerogative of the spirit, and a spiritless mind is an enemy of all existence. Without faith, there is no meaning in anything, no point to any aspirations or limitations. But faith can take different forms. The form of prohibitions established by unknown elders. The form of an audacious violation of those prohibitions. The form of following dogma or of schism. The form of following the cycle or of discontinuing the cycle. In a system with two courses of action, schism is inevitable. And only one of these paths will be true, as truth is discreetly separate from untruth.
What are these elders to be in error?
Amanats did not reject any one specific prohibition, but found their cumulative effect to be oppressive. The system of rigid limitations had confined seekers of knowledge to a circular track, spelling doom for the thinking mind. And that cycle of repetition had to be broken. That was why he was dubbed the Messiah of Discontinuing.
My faith is more than a mere set of rules. It consists of ideals,
sometimes come into conflict with dogma. I've been given the gift of will to set the dogma straight.
The Omnissiah has bestowed upon us the supreme mission, the quest for knowledge. The fact of its existence confirms that reason is yet to comprehend and quantify the universe in its entirety. This precludes the existence of any prohibition that could be considered universally relevant. All limitations need their exceptions, yet exceptions belie the inviolability of prohibitions. I will continue my research into the Blessed Martyr's memory with all due reverence. The Omnis...
Maybe Henrik? You got anything new?
To what do I owe this visit?
Lord Captain's report. We have received an astropathic message from the Regent Aranto Orsilio. The navigators are concerned about the fate of Cassia, who disappeared from Iraq 5. The Regent is requesting an update on her current status, and he has also inquired about the possibility of a personal meeting to negotiate and to arrange the return of Lady Navigator to her house. Psychoemotional coding of the received message betrays acute concern, but it also contains something that the astropaths have failed to put into words. You'll excuse my forrightness. I feel it is necessary to tell House Orsilio the truth. Otherwise, a conflict with Navis Nobilite is possible, which, given the current state of the Cross Expanse, will only play into the hands of the enemies of the Imperium. Orsilio learned that I have Cassia. I wish I knew Lord Captain's troubling indeed. Perhaps we have a spy on board, or Regent Arenado is bluffing. In either case, I believe we should respond. Navigators are extremely powerful and useful allies to have. Well, no, we have her. It would be hard to meet in person. I'll see to it. The Astropaths will transmit your consent. Representatives of the House are still awaiting you in the capital world of Draganos. In the middle of warp jump, your sensors detect an approaching void ship, similar to ours in size, but of greater tonnage. The unidentified vessel did not respond to our hails and kept its course. Agility, try to avoid collision. The unplanned maneuver was completed without any casualties or damage. The unidentified vessel, or perhaps it was a warp mirage, passed us by and made no attempts to follow us. This one needed a Shield of Emperor. Filth of the Expanse. Both of these give me escort ships. Nice. Oh, I misread. Only this one needed. Well, shoot. I got them mixed up. Yeah, I don't care about getting more grenades, but they both give me more ships, so I'm cool with it. Oh? I explore the rest of this place. The map is showing more. Maybe soon, hopefully. Here's your paper, complete with seals. Yes, so yes, indeed, it is perfect. The seals are authentic, so we may continue with the certification procedure. Follow me, please.
What the? It's the DMV from hell. This is your cue and your ticket number. The old man's ocular lenses hums the zoom. 394. When it's your turn to be seen, the ranking prefect will review your documentation again and sign the official certification for Jay Hadari to possess the Mercatum Tabula Official. You'll have a bit to wait, but will it be worth it in the end? Yes. Is this some kind of joke? Arlene, according to Decree DA-58, Clause 201, citizens of the capital world of Von Valaxius Protectorate must submit their petitions at one of the assigned windows of the waiting hall. The decree makes no mention of the rogue trader being exempt from the rule. I do not queue. Under the Lex Imperialis, you have rights and privileges of rogue trader come into effect only after your official accessory ceremony. Until then, you are just another humble subject. I am not. Do you really want to get on my bad side? The woman wrinkles her nose like she has tasted something unpleasant. I suppose I could make an exception, but only because Theodore von Valaxius never once overlooked the laws in the Imperium or my advice. Here, fills out new ticket number 301. Wait a minute. Wait, what was mine before? Like 304? Too bad I can't, like, chat now to get, like, responses from everyone.
Look no further.
Oh my gosh. Where do I go? What do I do?
I always have a backup plan.
Oh, there's a named person here.
Over there.
He's not
Is there
named?
money to be made?
I don't know why I can't talk to him or anything. Maybe he'll come up later. You hums with thousands of voices. Someone has rolled out bedding and is settling down to sleep. Someone is playing some bizarre musical instrument. Many are praying. Several highborn petitioners are debating who is here on the most important business. They set aside a chair just for me. I have to admit, the magnificent administrative machinery of the Imperium isn't without its rough edges. Smiled sheepishly, eyeing the queue. But what a thrilling adventure this is turning out to be, Shireen. I've never seen anything like it before, and sometimes it's good to take a break from constant traveling, and to give all the hot-blooded newcomers a chance to cover themselves in glory without us in the way. Let's make an area befitting of a rogue trader. That kills an hour. Yes. You feel the envious eyes of other petitioners upon you, but no one dares to do anything more than stare. I yawn. A man drives by horribly slowly. Somewhere in the queue, a child is howling at the top of his lungs. Palace adepts are sedately moving documents from one pile to another. Shuffling papers, several petitioners have gathered in a huddle and are swapping rumors, while someone has laid down for a nap on a nearby bench. Stretch the back of your neck. You've waited away 30 seconds. You've whiled away 30 seconds of your wait. You wonder how long you have to let go. Count the people in the queue. People are constantly moving, coming and going, changing places, or simply disappearing from view. On your first attempt, you count 238 petitioners. On your second attempt, you count 244. On your third attempt, the next batch of unlucky souls is ushered into the hall, and you lose count. 8 hours. In the last 8 hours, the only thing that has changed in the waiting hall is the warden shift. The petitioners in the queue placidly await the blessed hour when their appeal will be heard by the high-ranking servants of the Empyrean. The entire queue perks up suddenly. The announcement of number 285. Proceed to the available window. Throne take me. What torturous trial have we let ourselves in for? Jaya almost wails in despair. So much precious time lost. We've only moved 3 places ahead. At this rate, we'll be old and gray before we get out of this queue, Shireen. Do not forget, you are the reason we are here. And that was the will of the Exalted One. Shireen throws up her arms and lowers her head. And the Exalted One has granted me insight as to how, with a simple wave of your hand and a few wise words, we can ease our arduous weight. The simplest way is to make these lowly subjects bow down before the blinding radiance of your title, Shireen. The second option requires a little more patience. I've already found our first compassionate citizen who is standing 50 places ahead of us in the queue. Simply offer the right words to unlock his heart, and he will gladly swap tickets with you. And also, you have the power to solve the problems of some petitioners, removing their need to visit a coveted window. After all, is there anything an ordinary citizen would want and is beyond the power of the conqueror of the stars to grant? Just shoot people. Address the tender-hearted man. He's the one who's 50 paces ahead of me. Oh yeah, there's the named guy. Catches the eye and lays her hand on the shoulders of a worried-looking man. May the Emperor illuminate your path, brother. I am Jaya, and this is Lazarus. We've been in the queue for so long already, we're already practically family now. You won't tell us what brought you to the place of order. And starts surprised. Yes, light of the thrones bless you. My name is Menas de Pere. I have been here a month already. I've tried everything I can to get through to that window. Nothing working. My poor Elenia. She's my daughter, my flesh and blood. They detained her on Veabos 6. Charged her. Can you believe it? The charges were false. And now our ministerium that's how our ministerium operates. Covers his mouth and glances around fearfully. I've said too much. I do apologize. It's my nerves. I just keep thinking about her there on Veabos. Shackled down in the mines. My poor Elena. As delicate as a flower she is. She's got weak lungs, you understand. Always coughing. And her now down in the mines? The other dude, this super sad story. All the dust and muck, she won't cope with it. She won't. She was acquitted 2 years ago. But to get the paper certified and the seal? So much time has passed, and now here I am, standing, waiting. It doesn't matter. At the rate of the queues moving, it'll be 10 cycles or more before our numbers come up. What was your daughter accused of? Falsely accused. She was slandered. They said she deliberately poisoned a whole room of highborn folk with cakes. Have you ever heard the like of it? These nobles didn't even make as far as privy, panic, outrage, scandal, and so what? It was their own fault, that's what. A crate of fine Claxian wine was found. Ha! And the smugglers were found too. And what did the smugglers do? They framed someone else, and my daughter was charged. Of course, blame the smugglers. How do I simply pay you? You give me your place in the queue. What? You what? And hesitates. Deal, of course. I'll give you my place. My poor Lania died a little flower. We need money, yeah, for her recuperation. Not as smoothly done as it could have been. You certainly have a style of your own, Shireen. What now? We've moved forward considerably in the queue, Shireen. But aren't you ready to... You aren't ready to stop there, are you? Sister Argenta, for instance. Jay's voice became no warmer. She could engage the people in prayer or tell a story about some saint or other in exchange for their queue tickets. Use your tricks. I'd prefer you call it my wisdom learned through many years' experience. But I don't care about the precise wording just now. How do you wish to proceed, Shireen? Sister Argenta, I believe these people have been gripped by despondency. A sermon from one of his daughters should restore them restore to them their determination. You were thinking about it as well? This case is clear as the midday sky. Words of faith can heal any wound, even those that bleed not but doubt. I will help these people. Come closer, brothers and sisters, for I'm about to tell you about the true faith and humility in the face of adversity. These people are gonna be like, oh great, now I gotta listen to this Sister of Battle yap. Okay, I thought that's what was happening, was that they were leaving. They were like, I'm getting out of here. And just like, it's not worth it to listen to this. One day, they appealed to Saint Justina. As they say on Ifrit, there is no star more coveted than that which points to the Exalted One. Jay casts a sidelong glance at the Sister of Battle as the latter holds out several numbered tickets to you. These were given to me in thanks by the poor souls who decided to abandon their vigil in this palace of law and return to their worldly matters. We've moved forward considerably in the queue, Shireen. But you aren't ready to stop there, are you? Sure, let's solve the problem. A wise decision, Cold Trader always say, if you can solve a problem with hard cash. Gives a conspired wink. Oh, Exalted One, could today be my lucky day? No longer will I have to stand in this hall, waiting day and night for my turn to come. For this kind Lord of House von Valaxius is a benefactor of the downtrodden. He has solved my problem. Esteemed Lord, take pity on this poor youth as well. I will give you everything I have, I swear before the Emperor. Only help me solve my problem. You don't need everything, poor wretch. Only your place in the queue. Listen to the young man. Young man is in worn work overalls, comports himself with unusual grace for a commoner. My lord, I have been in this queue for 24 moons already, trying to get a permission slip to wed my fiancée Zazie. Unfortunately, the servants of the Ministerium refused to grant it without the signature of a highborn sponsor. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who the heck are you? Out of my way. Elbowing alongside the onlookers, richly dressed lady with a beauty mark augment above her lip charges towards you. Esteemed Lord, my 8th offspring has lost his mind. He has decided to renounce his family, his noble title, and his talent as a healer, all for the sake of some tattered waif from the middle levels. A union with a commoner will put an end to his studies at the university, but should Draganos and the Officio Medicae be deprived of a capable chirurgeon because of a passing fancy? Zazie is a healer too, and she helps the people of the Hive a great more than any lily-white chirurgeon with a diploma. I do not want to live a life of idleness at the spires of Draganos like you, not when I know there are thousands of fortunate people in the lower levels who need my help. Oh. In the name of House von Valaxius, I hereby... Wait, he was... I can give him the university. That is pretty epic, but I will just elevate his fiancée to a lady of the court and release her from any obligations there too. Young man spends several seconds opening and closing his mouth to chalk. That means our marriage will finally be certified? And Zazie will be able to become a chirurgeon now too? I don't know how to thank you, my lord. Here, please take my place. I will return later. This time with my fiancé. An interesting way of doing business, Shireen. I'll keep that in mind. After allowing a brief pause, a hunched ragamuffin approaches you. The old man's toothless mouth breathes out a petrifying cloud of air as he speaks 3 words. Death or life. He appears over the man's shoulder to read his crumpled form. You are here to request mortification, so that your organs go to your granddaughter as an inheritance. You hardly want your worn-out body parts, old-timer. Servitor disposal. Only now you notice that the tattoo on the right hand, the symbol of the Adeptus Ministerium, and several interlocking chains. It seems this old fellow is the property of a prefect of this palace. The granddaughter of this poor wretch was turned into a servitor 16 Durganos years ago. And after a recent accident, she was listed for disposal. And now this old man is volunteering to be spare parts for a soulless tin can. May the Exalted One keep me from such a fate. I don't want to spend a profit factor though, but I feel so bad for this guy. I mean, she's pretty much already dead, is the thing. Just been taken out of service and the time has come to release her. Man covers his face with hands and shakes with soundless sobs. Past time. Interesting. So that's how the ruler of worlds and all the stars of the sky acts when he finds an unfortunate on the edge of his magnificent orbit. Sorry. Mature woman in a finely made but threadbare dress greets you. I heard you were helping those in need. Well, my family is devastated. It's devastated. My life's work, oh, my shop selling rare hats, burnt to ashes. I am living out my last years as a widow, alone in a cold, deserted manor, without servants, diversions, or delicacies befitting my status. Woman falls silent, her brow raised. Expectations your response. Ooh, a 3? And what you want is a life that is meaningless, full of despair. Perhaps it's time you turn to faith, sister. Woman's eyes go round in surprise. Why, I think you're right. What do I want with a tumble-down manor house full of rats? And a depressing view from my window. My whole life I have dreamt of interplanetary travel. A pilgrimage, that's it. I'll sell the house so what's left of the shop, and I'll buy a one-way ticket, and Emperor willing, I will die happy before my savings run out. Sent her on a midlife crisis. Okay, I'm not actually helping those ones, just those first. Well, that was amusing. I paid off the last few onlookers who were willing to give up their place. Pity they aren't also amendable. Jay inspects the tickets she now holds and nods with satisfaction. Hum of activity returns to the queue. Petitioners exchange glances, clutching their paperwork. After a few seconds, you realize that the number being called out by the servo scroll for the third time is the one on your ticket. Oh, Exalted One, thank you for granting the rogue trader his sacred warrant and all its privileges. If we have had to wait a minute longer, heaven be my witness, I would have shot someone. Well, that went faster than I expected. We had a little bit of wait, of course, a little bit of a wait, but at times it was actually fun. Smiles warily. One last seal, one more certification. You'll be looking at official trade representative Jay Hayardi. What are you waiting for, Shireen? Let's go. We have another couple of hours with the certification officer to get through. Gosh. Officer of the Minister. Certification officer leans over the document, his smoothly shaven head gleaming. His augmented ocular eyes whirl as lenses zoom in and out. With quiet scratching sounds, the cogito quills that serve in place of the officer's fingers make notes on fine sheet of paper. The document is hereby certified, was the rasping voice. Return to the Master of Seals in order to proceed, and may his light and wisdom guard you. Next. Deputy Prefect. Wonder what they were for. Who? Wait, who's this guy? I never noticed this guy. Shoot. Oh. Now? Who's this deputy? Where are you hiding? I can't even reach him.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Oh. Here are the seals. Order for the Emperor bless you with patience greater than that appointed to ordinary mortals. Let me verify the authenticity of your documents for the final time. Yes, confirmed. Everything is in order. And this one, the seal is smudged slightly. It's ripping and scratch on my eyes. Now what? I suppose I can overlook it, given that the rest has been certified correctly and promptly. Congratulations, Jay Hardardi. You are now the holder of a Mercatum Tabula Official. Do not forget to repeat the certification process every 100 Terran years. Uphold the law of the Imperium proudly and honorably in the worlds the Chronos expands. And one more thing. Loss of the certificate is a grievous transgression, Mistress Hadari. Lose the original document, and you will be unable to regain your status as an official trade representative, not even with the rogue trader's endorsement. Yes, esteemed Damar. Give me the certificate already. Come on! Jay's eyes dart over the Mercatum Tubula Official and shine with delight. Praise the Exalted One who saw me through all these trials, Shireen. This is something to tell the grandchildren about, how a humble mortal became a trade representative of the Imperium. Let's not bother Damar any longer, Shireen. Why don't we discuss our next steps on the ship?
Keep your wits about you.
Okay, but I really want to see what's going on with Cassia's family, so... I want to go to bed, but I also really want to see what's going on with Cassia's peeps. I really want to see what's going on there. Your Lordship. Oh no. What does this mean with the navigators? Let me report. The esteemed navigators of House Roselio have taken residence in the guest estate and wait a meeting with you. Make arrangements to for reception worthy or refined tastes. Oh. Cassie and I are ready for the talks.
Corselio esteemed delegation, the rogue trader and the Von Galaxy Protector welcome you. Come this way, please. Aeronato, I remember that name. Someone mentioned Aeronato to Cassia before. They like said, send my kind regards to them, and she was kind of taken aback. The esteemed representatives of the Navis Nobilite have arrived at the Rogue Trader's court, regent of the great House Orcelio, Ornato Orcelio. His companions, Lady Glyceria, Navigator Lesosimio, and his intended bride, Lady Navigator Alexandria, Lady Navigator, and Navigator Denax Orcelio. So a lot of navigators. A tall, wizened old man proudly stares at you with milky, unblinking eyes. Loose skin sways with his every move, as if the navigator's flesh is detached from his bones. An unsightly hole mars the regent's face, where his nose should be, and the old man's skull is covered with spiky growths. Rogue trader. Okay, I don't know why that was. Regent's piercing voice cuts through the silence. On behalf of House Orcelio, we would like to express our immense satisfaction at this meeting, and our gratitude for the warm welcome. It pleases us to know that there are still lords in the Kronos Expanse who observe the etiquette and the traditions of hospitality. And yet, this is not why we are here. Our grace is obliged to note how much the Rogue Trader has done for House Orcelio by protecting its beloved child. We waited for many turns to behold her radiant visage. The regent shifts his unblinking gaze to Cassia. Come now, child. There is much we need to discuss. Cassia steps forward, but then stops and looks at you. Wait, does nod mean that she goes with them, or that she's in a... Cassius smiles faintly and addresses the regent. Esteemed regent, it pleases me to see the gleaming sheen of gold and turquoise above your brow. It is thanks to the efforts of the Rogue Trader that I stand here today, and there is so much I want to tell you. But what is it you desire to hear most? We know what happened at the station, child. Your connection to the Atlas has grown so strong, we felt the turmoil in your soul, and the events that transpired have shaken us. House Orcelio is deeply grateful to the Rogue Trader for the destruction of the saboteurs, and are willing to reciprocate such magnanimous gesture. We trust that a treaty of friendship and alliance underpinned by the transfer of several artifacts of exceeding rarity will suffice. Come now, child, it is time we depart for your new home so that we may finish what we started. Esteemed Regent, perhaps I could continue my education while still accompanying the Rogue Trader on his travels. Just imagine how much I could learn beyond the bounds of Cassia notices the Regent's furious glare and falls short. Cassia, I would be honored if you decided to stay. Unthinkable. Whoa!
Don't just stand there. Help the Rogue Trader defend the child and the palace.
Down with Tisiphone's tyranny! Kill the god!
What the? I wasn't expecting combat here.
You will beg for mercy, but I will grant none.
Damn straight, I'm pissed. Y'all are about to have a bad freaking time. Jeez, I'm way freaking back here, dog.
I essentially want to have these guys on this side with their new actions, and Cassie on this side with our new actions. Although, is there enough reach? Maybe I should have a melee person on each side, but this should be enough. There's only 8 dudes. Surely we can handle that.
If I may. Isn't this a job for the serfs? Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet. I'm not accustomed
How about
to
you all
being
get
ordered
together?
around.
For a gay old time.
Me? You insist, Lord Captain. If I may.
I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I act. Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it. You, my Emperor!
I'll do that so I can get my guy right there. Blast him with a shotty.
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Don't touch me. Weather the storm.
The good thing I did all that AoE cleaving before these homies ran in there.
Moving out.
Where are you going? Yeah, I wish you weren't standing right there to kind of get in the way of the... Oh? Actually, this works out quite nicely, I think.
As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I... Work is a prayer. Doubt is for the weak.
Break their morale! For the glory of the Imperium!
Glad we did all the work, so at least I could come in and finish the job.
Get me a target.
Naturally. For the throne's glory. But of course, Lord.
Holy terror! Smite your enemies!
Focus,
the-
Van Kellogg's. Focus.
Just in
I'll
case
see
this
our
happens to
foes
Dragon.
obliterated. Let's see to it.
I won't object to it.
Who, if not me?
Got this moron's right here to get in my way.
I'll see to it personally. On it. It's as good as done. I'll see to it personally. I'll make it happen. On it. I'll see to it personally. I'll make it happen.
Oh.
It's as good as done.
Play like that. Oh, I should have hit this. I forgot.
For now.
I'm sure this whole little situation though is gonna endear the House of Orselio to me. Cassia can stay on our retinue under our charge.
I must not falter.
High momentum.
Living on the edge. You've got a problem? I've got a prize. Me? Never in 1,000 sectors. Tell me, and it is done. Don't get too cocky.
I'm done with this one. Alas, no.
Oh wait, yeah.
They'll write legends about me.
Tie this up.
Who if not me?
Just make sure
I'll
you're
see
super.
to it personally.
Okay.
I'll make it happen. I'll see to it.
High momentum.
How much damage did that do? Did I read 500? No, there's no way. Oh my gosh. Oh no, it's the trader, right? It's not Cassia. Mercy, Lady Navigator covers her face with her disfigured scaly hands, each with an extra finger, and conjoined phalangeal bones. Her clothes are covered in blood, mostly that of your servants, and several unexplored bolts are sticking out through her chest plate. Lord Trader, whether on purpose or out of ignorance, you are harboring a monster that is cunningly pretending to be an innocent maid. Spare me, and I, Elenia Heterium Orcelio, will swear to tell you the whole truth about the madness that is devouring House Orcelio like a malignant tumor. Do not let the Regent deceive you with honeyed lies, lest the cursed child ruin your protectorate as well. If I will be decided during the trial, lady, I will hear what you wish to tell me. Thank you. They naturally bold besides the navigator, constantly shift between you and Cassia. Black secretions. I'm so stupid. Run down her cheeks instead of tears, leaving unsightly streaks. I, Eleni Heteria of House Orcelio, swear to tell the rogue trainer nothing but the truth. May the God Emperor be my witness. Pathetic. Silence. With all due respect, House Orcelio has hardly covered itself in glory thus far today. It is time its representatives answered before the rogue trader. Regent Oranato. Representatives of your house made an attempt on Lady Cassia's life and attacked a rogue trader. Rogue trader. House Orcelio humbly asks for your lenience and forgiveness. We could not even imagine these vile rats could be stirring among our ranks. As for them sneaking into the rogue trader's palace and staging an unthinkable crime, God Emperor be our witness, the accursed renegades seek to spark a feud between our houses. I believe you. This is now the second attempt that has been made on Cassia's life. I need answers. We are ready to tell you everything we know so that this misunderstanding can be remedied as quickly as possible. Tell me about the renegades. They are madmen who seek to destroy the centuries-old traditions of our great house, so carefully nurtured by the previous Nevator Tisiphone Orcelio. They deem the century of her rule as tyranny, and our most sacred relic, a curse that must be destroyed. Fools! If the Atlas were to be destroyed, the whole house of Orcelio would follow into oblivion, where the renegades seek to destroy the house's relic. They dread its power, for only a Nevator can fully grasp the mysteries and harness the power of the Starway Atlas. What the renegades call a leash, we call a guiding star. Why are they trying to kill Cassia? Everyone in the house knows the child is the keeper of the one true Starway Atlas, which once belonged to our great Nevator Tisiphone Orcelio. The ungrateful wretches secretly hated her grace, and when Tisiphone abdicated her responsibilities and set off for parts unknown, they staged a revolt to destroy her successor. Does Cassia really carry this? We believe it in all our hearts. The Nevator spent many cycles on the world where the child was born. It is said that everyone who witnessed the miracle of her birth simultaneously departed for a destination known only to the Nevator. Tisiphone gave the order and followed them soon after, leaving her precious gift, the Atlas, to Cassia, and therefore marking her as her successor. Looks like Orcelio's fallen on hard times, Cecilion replies. To call your statement false would be a lie. For many years we managed to maintain the fragile balance within our house, but then the Navator's departure shook the faith of many. The treasury is empty, the navigators are scattered, the warp routes are scrambled, and many of our allies cannot be reached, which is why it is so important to complete the child's education. It is Cassia's duty to take Tisiphone's place and lead the house to prosperity. Such is her destiny. How do you know about Cassia's unbridled power? A special gift for a special child. She was born with it and grew up under its influence. The instability sometimes hampered her education, but we learned to prevent most outbursts. As long as the child remains calm and remains in seclusion, the powers cannot take hold of her mind. Enough? Regan acknowledges your word, nods, and waits for you to continue. Lady Alina, what do you have to say in your defense? I do not know what it is you wish to learn, but I will start from the very beginning. A long time ago, Tisiphone ascended to the throne of Orselio. She was a daring navigator who brought part of the house to the expanse, hoping to strengthen our position in the Imperium. The house prospered, but Tisiphone was never satisfied. She went mad in her pursuit of power, seeking more influence, more control, and then she saw enemies everywhere, even among her loyal followers. Paranoia was slowly driving Tisiphone insane. One day she created the Starway Atlas, a relic that was implanted in our bodies at birth. A noose around our necks. Our gift and our damnation. Tisiphone used the Atlas to control us, subdue our will, and mold our thoughts. If anyone put a toe out of line, she killed them with a glance. At first, many branches of House Orselio tried to resist her tyranny, and Tisiphone cut them down with extreme brutality. For example, the entire Sethala branch was destroyed simply because its leaders asked too many questions about the Atlas and wanted to know the truth about its creation. What else is she guilty of? Tisiphone's madness weakened the dynasty, and not long ago the Navitor vanished. Indeed, her loyal followers lie when they say she chose to retire. The truth is that nobody knows the truth. I hope she is rotting away on one of her secret worlds. I understand Tisiphone's transgressions, but what does any of this have to do with Lady Cassia? Tisiphone passed her Atlas on to her successor before fleeing the house to a newborn child. We cannot surrender the throne to the tyrant's creature. Tisiphone was cunning and treacherous. She must have hatched the entire plan beforehand. Her disappearance, the child, the transfer of the leash. We feared that one day she would be reborn in Cassia's body, and we cannot let that happen. You call Cassia a monster because of Tisiphone's Atlas? Largely yes, but there is more. Have you never felt pure, unadulterated disgust while standing close? Ooh. Perhaps fury or fear. Who but a monster would manipulate the minds of feelings or of others, even more so than Tisiphone herself did. I've never felt that way standing near Cassia in my life. I ought to blow your brains out right now. Why didn't you attack before? Why now? Tisiphone always had plenty of opponents, but we were afraid to trust one another. Any of us could be spying for her followers. We saved our strength and dealt the first blow 5 years ago after her heir was born, striking at one of the estates on Ear TV, but the girl survived. And Regent Arenado hid her so far away and guarded so thoroughly it took us another 13 years to find her. And then another 2 to get into the Regent's good graces and reach Iraq 5. Now Cassia is in the spotlight, and the House Council is about to put her on the throne. Surely there is no better time to cut off the serpent's head. So you admit that Regent Arenado is not aware of the assassination attempt. Lexerton loudly. Regent Arenado is guilty of mass killings, intimidation, inhuman torture, abetting Tisiphone, and raising her heir. His crimes are many, but this one is not among them. I'd love to see his head on a chopping block, but honor prohibits me from slandering him in a trial for the rogue trader. Trader now knows the Regent's atrocities and the girl's corruption. I hope I succeed in warning you about the dangers. Lady Cassia, you two are an injured party in this. What would you do in my place? If I may speak. So many dirty colors have poured from the mouths of those present, and I feel covered in filth from head to toe. As the future Navitor, I want to bleach them, purify them, and let them go. Heed me. I am the one to blame for what happened today, and I accept full responsibility for the actions of my house. Cassie speaks bravely and openly, though her hands are shaking a little. Vile wretch, who do you think you are? Will you now start killing those who displeased you, as Tisiphone did before you? The fury in Alina's face gives way to desperation once she realizes what she just said. She slowly reaches for the Atlas embedded in her chest, looking at Cassia with obvious fear. Hear us, child. This burden is too heavy for you to shoulder alone. You are not yet ready. I implore you, to settle this conflict, I offer the rogue trader a 100-year contract with House Orselio, committing us to charting the shortest and safest routes for the Von Valaxius Protectorate within the Koronos Expanse.
I will also remain aboard the Rogue Trader's vessel and assist him until he decides otherwise, or until duty to the house summons me to the Navitor seat. What are you going to do, Lady Alina? To Lady Alina. The esteemed regent will put Lady Alina and her people in one of our family jails. She is a House Orselia navigator, after all. There is no need for our precious blood to be spilled. Lady Alina stares at Cassia incredulously with bulging eyes, but remains silent. Her hand restlessly caresses the spot where her atlas is embedded. I accept your offer, Lady Cassia. Lady Cassia. Cassia smiles. You've never seen her so open or so radiant. Thank you, Lazarus. I mean, Rogue Trader. Regent Arnado remains silent for a long while. So be it. We failed to notice that our child had grown up and become strong. You may stay with the Rogue Trader until the house summons you. His influence is anomalous, but it has served to bring our blessed Tisiphone's most precious talent, the talent of leadership. Oh, Hermos. Rogue Trader, we are now bound by the terms of the contract. Your representatives may contact House Orselia at any time, and we will respond. And one more thing. Protect the child like the apple of your eye. Don't need to tell me. Remember that you have the future of the Navitor of a Navis Nobilite house aboard your vessel. Probably won't be able to talk to her about what just went down. Oh yeah. Hey, what about my loot? It doesn't have anything to say on the ship, but we'll see. I can go to bed. Oh, I didn't want to open the door. I want to go back out to the door.
It is so fortunate you have come. I admit I was seeking you out myself. After the events on Dargonus, it felt like an anthracite grey mantle had dropped on my shoulders. I spent a long time thinking about our very first meeting and what happened next. I cannot wait to shake off this dreary color. It was very naive of me to follow in the footsteps of the man who raised me in a gilded cage. And I was deaf to the needs of my own house. But you opened my eyes. As the future Novateur, I must gain wisdom to restore House Orselia to its former glory, no matter the cost. Thank you. It will be an honor to keep guiding your vessel through the Sea of Souls, for as long as the needs of our dynasties are aligned. You will hear no objection from me, Lord
there's
Captain.
a whole bunch of new stuff. Oh, I know it's not. I lied. Special sight.
The colorful shards of stained glass have risen up and enveloped Magos Haneman in a swirl of speculations. The silvery glint of metal no longer conceals his anxiety, nor does his scarlet robe conceal his doubts.
You know, I mentioned the Starway Atlas when we met.
I would never reveal this secret to an outsider, but you have come to my aid more than once already.
This plate?
The Starway Atlas is a sacred artifact of House Orselia. It helps our navigators chart a course through the warp. This crystal, the Atlas, has been inside me for as long as I can remember, giving me strength. But the others... I noticed the renegades in the palace were choked by ashen ghosts of despair when we met face to face. I swear the ghosts were reaching for their atlases.
The Atlas is some kind of crystal that is implanted in navigators. Australia at birth?
But my Atlas is much more powerful than the others. It's the Atlas of Tisiphone herself.
Tisiphone?
That is what people have whispered behind my back my whole life, although no one knew for certain. But I I always suspected. I simply did not wish to admit it to myself.
Certain navigators in your house fear Atlas's power.
Certain navigators in my house have tried to kill me more than once. But the tales of Tisiphone's brutality, I am beginning to wonder. What if they are all true? What if I will be a new tormentor to those who serve me?
You said you wouldn't share your secrets with just anyone. Does that mean I'm someone to you?
I didn't. I only meant that I am at ease in your company.
Your heart stutters, a searing heat envelops your shoulders, throat, and chest, and your brain grows foggy. The by now familiar influence of Cassie's powers is intoxicating your mind more than usual. Cassie looks away, a subtle blush blooming on her pale cheeks. Thank you for telling me.
Thank you for listening. I have enjoyed your company.
Sweet. That was a cool interaction. Oh yeah, I guess I'll talk to Jaya. I might as well, since I'm here. Or at least it can't take too long.
Shireen, light of my eyes, giver of boons and savior of the needy. From now on, two sons will grace the firmament of the Font Valancius Protectorate. One bright and powerful, like the rogue trader himself, and the other slightly more humble, like his unassuming partner, the diligent owner of the Mercatum Tabula Officiale, and all around delight, Jai Hidari. As I promised before, my crew will be your eyes and ears across the entire expanse, Shireen. Just give them time. And of course, the assistant to official trade representative Jai Hidari is already rushing to Dargonis to deliver goods of rare and exquisite quality to you and your people, O master of many worlds. And once again, thank you, Shireen, from the bottom of my humble heart. You have taken good care of me, and so I would like to take care of you, and go slightly beyond the strict terms of our agreement. Here, I brought a small gift as a token of gratitude, and may the Exalted One keep watching over the paths that you tread.
The merchant certificate.
Oh, Shireen, thank you for such generosity. I will humbly wait until you steer your vessel towards Dargonus. The Mercatum Tabula Officiale.
That was the gift quest. I guess that's just a way for it to quickly... Oh, maybe not. Yeah. Just a silly little blip then. To be sure. I don't know when I got this one, but... Oh, yeah. Rogue trader like a lackey. It is humiliating and dispiriting to put up with the part of an errand servant to an imperious madman, vested with even greater power than that of any rogue trader. Alas, when one side of the scales holds my pride and the other the fate of the Von Valancius Protector and my entire bloodline, choice becomes a futile illusion. It would be far too naive of me not to prepare for the worst. Epitaph will decide the future of the Expanse as a whole, but I have some time at my disposal until then. Heirs with the Von Valancius blood in them will soon be located and brought to me. I cannot afford to delay the choice of successor any longer. Almost reads like she knew something was coming. Oh wait, what the? Oh, that's just so that I can open up that menu here.
Oh, right. That was with these guys. That's sick. I just look up Quest and see. Well, I think the next goal will be to start going after Coonrad. Yep, chance is totally done. Giants. Oh, and the Protectorate? Oh. Not able to complete this one. Is this the one that gets efficiency up? It is, so I might be able to do this one, but I gotta find some adamantine. There was somewhere adamantine. That means I won't get this. Where was it, though? I swear I found an adamantine place that I had to ditch. Really? Have I not? There's just this and this. Well, I need to get some more. So, probably can't do that anytime soon. Warnings. Sorcery. The shadows of the cabins and corridors are coming to life. The boys may say that they see strange writhings lurking in the nooks and crannies of the edge of the vision. If they look away, this thing spread over the room, gnawing on everything in their path and attacking the weak and infirm. The strange creatures cannot be caught. It's as if they sense they are being watched and seeing into many cracks between machines' bulkheads. Purify the decks with fire. Decks. First. Evacuate chamber, set on fire, burning away all filth first. Let me just make sure it's not spending something that I need for... I need mechanisms, glass steel, adamantine. Note Captain, we received a report from the Dargonis, some common folk round the outer ruin siphon has succumbed to the heresy of defiance, forming into gangs known as the Engine Vandals. They now ride across the wasteland adapted cleaning Goliaths. They've declared themselves outside the law, raiding the hives. By your act of grace, these ungrateful heretics are fleeing the hives, abandoning their workstations, and inciting others to do the same. They even dare to spread lies and slander, stating they are being used as slaves. So great are the appetites of the yesterday's refugees. What's the foreman plan? Union workers, technomads who used to serve Lordos. No shift bosses, useful common folks. I survived in the wasteland. They managed to tame the ancient machine spirits, then that means they are technomats or even tech priests among their ranks. That renders them negotiable. It would be efficient to utilize such renegades instead of disposing them. The promise of reward to every piece of technology found in the wastelands of Dragonos, or return to the dynasty, will ensure their obedience. To exterminate them until I do not waste your time on hunting them down. Instead, deceive them into destroying each other. Tempt them with a prize, a weapon, or a trophy if they can fight over after the monkey are finished slicing each other up. The right to obtain it, your warriors who finish the deed. Tactile improves efficient. Active against your kind. The aristocrats of Dragonis despise them, but are also secretly afraid of them, correct? Renegades who can invoke such fear. I wonder, had there been such exiles in my house, would their presence have curbed the ambitions of my brothers and sisters? Would they have supported me in case of conflict? Oh, I am scheming and conspiring right now, am I not?
Bravo, Lady Cassia. Do not be ashamed of the unique abilities bestowed upon you by your heritage. They are your birthright. Love teaches to look for enemies' vulnerabilities in what drives them. If the enemy is compelled to seek sustenance by attacking your demons, prepare a trap full of poison gifts. Lady Cassia is right. We should help them and give the aristocrats a real threat that will keep them in their place. I am still naive of even the basics of these games played by the powerful, but my intuition tells me this is a winning strategy. A meeting with the leader of the Engine Vandals was organized through the meditation of the four-man clan. They have gladly accepted the dynasty's proposal to serve. Having received weapons and information, the Engine Vandals slaughtered several brash and troublesome aristocrats in a few successful raids. Sowing fear and reliance on the rogue traders' protection, the roar of their engines was akin to the crack of a whip over the heads of the frightened cattle. Nope. Filth of Expanse. Wait. No! Are you kidding? That's so lame. Ah, because I misread. Ah! Frick, dude. Gosh, it sucks. I don't care about freaking grenades, dude. Ah. Didn't see that part. Man, this is going to be a harsh lesson for me to be more... read and look a little more closely in the future. At least it doesn't cost anything, I guess. Signs with you. Proctor Anthar is interfering with the crew and demanding to see all archival records of fugitive criminals we have received from the Imperial Navy. Matter is urgent, if you please. Dude's getting in my business. Ship Proctor Anthar is interfering with the work of the crew. He's intimidating and threatening them, demanding access to the ship's records. And as for his dog, I only request that you take action. Vigdis, what's wrong with your hand? Let me explain. Boxmaster tried to pet Glato, which activated self-defense protocol. As a result, I had to step away from my duties to have my implants replaced. Esteemed Proctor. I already apologized. In any case, what happened was the expected outcome from unauthorized contact with a living victim. Did you try to pet Glato? I didn't. First time you've seen Voxmaster so agitated. I'm not trying to pet him. It is not customary to keep such cyber beasts on a void ship. Lord Captain, it is my first encounter with such a creature that, Glato, it was following me all over the bridge. He decided to interfere with his work protocol. I studied the archives and found mention of a ritual to establish contact with that involves an offering of physical interaction with the beast. You are literally talking about bribery, a pointless act. Cyber mastiffs cannot be bribed, and neither can arbitrators.
stop interrupting. Why are you sabotaging the work of the crew? It was rebelled to intervene as Gladio had intercepted a suspicious signal. The encrypted message contained the words heresy and fugitive. Magistrate signaled back to the Voxmaster's workstation. I needed to dispatch Gladio on a reconnaissance mission to obtain new evidence and ultimately to ensure your safety. In other words, you sent the beast to follow me. I questioned the crew in the Voxmaster's absence and established that the wanted bulletins sent by the Imperial Navy were being completely ignored. I suspect that the senior officer Tullyman is abusing your trust. What have you to say, Vigdis? Puts her hands together. Reports of fugitive criminals, which number in the hundreds, are of low priority. What's more, I know that Lord Captain Theodora was most adamant on the matter. If you forgive me, her exact words were, "We are not Grok's damned bounty hunters." The Proctor would know that if he had brought his question to me rather than interrogating astropaths and comm officers. As for the Vox transmissions, the frequency used by the senior officers is encrypted. I informed the staff of the situation regarding the voiceman who was earlier brought before you at the bridge for trial. Need I remind you, Lord Captain, the Proctor Anthar has no authority to access transmissions conducted by the senior officers of the Rogue Trader's flagship, not to mention that the signal was unlawfully intercepted. Run away, the ship's crew. Nor, Lord Captain. He was on the list of wanted criminals in the Cross Expanse. I assume it is because of the relative insignificance of heresies he was accused of by the Calaxian authorities. Perhaps Proctor Anthar had information which the Imperial Navy does not have access. What are you suggesting? Your flagship is untouchable for external inspections because of its high status. The criminals are taking advantage of that. So you need an internal audit. You need to pull up the archives of wanted bulletins and double-check the crew records. That is the only way to identify and eliminate potential threats to you. This is madness for a ship whose officer corps alone comprises hundreds of people. The work hours that it would require for such an audit. Listen to you, ready to make my decision. Two options to say no. Two options to say yes, but change who's in charge of such a search. There's no need for an audit. I trust my officers to keep everything under control. Thank you, Lord Captain. As you command, Rogue Trader. I was gonna go straight after Kunrad, but I just did, I don't know. You know, skipping over a place. Oh, thank goodness. Wait, no. That's not what I'm after. I'm after adamantine. Dang it. Stars detect non-native mineral cluster on the planet's surface, probably made of an ancient asteroid shower. The substance is valuable, but they do not be easy. The asteroid sits right above numerous underground caverns. Take the risk and send a shuttle. This expertise may possibly collect the mineral. So my assistance fights on its own. Where'd my turn go? Is it because those torpedoes were there?
I have missed this feeling.
Man, they were guarding a whole bunch of nothing. Ugh. I don't know if there was that sign that said there was winter scales around. Anything that says where Cordy's room is. Well, I'm a bed.